today we have some really exciting guests with us here today. We have William and then Leon, as we all know. And even more than that, we also have Chris Chen, Global Director, and then Thais European Boss also there with us. And Daniel, the President of Firefly, with us. And of course we have Power from Hua, and then also Matthias from Sweden here with us. So, and then Christian, European Communication, hiding over there somewhere. Welcome to you all. It's a pleasure to have you guys with us here today as well. Now, I'm not the main star here today, so I will be really quick. But if we just get started, I really would just want to take this opportunity to give you quickly. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I just wanted to share 3 quick points before I pass the mic on. We all know 2025 has been a tough year, not only for us, but for the business in general. We see that certain brands has been doing really well, other brands has been struggling a little bit more. For us, we have taken serious amount of actions towards the vision that we want to have. When we first launched back in 2021, we said that we want to provide a premium class of user experience. We want to form and shape a community where we all grow together. That has been a core business strategy for us. One of the key things that we have done this year, which we know we have been receiving a lot of feedback on, is how we then support you guys in terms of after sales and service. Now, many people has responded to us, and we are well aware that we have not been good enough. But at the same time, I would also like to take this opportunity to highlight the fact that we have improved our time, what we call for time to accept internally, basically meaning from the moment somebody pick up the phone until the car is at the service, with more than 3 days. We are now getting closer and closer to the market benchmark of 14 days. So we are making some progress. And once the car is actually at service, we have gone from almost 4 days, half of that, to 2 days at the workshop. So we are very pleased to say we're moving more and more into the right direction. Many thanks to you guys as well. So thank you for that. But of course, what really truly makes us different than the other brands is our PowerSwap and our BOSS solution. And it's really pleasant for me standing here today and say that out of our more than 60 stations in Europe, the top 10 of them, 8 out of those top 10 are in Norway. And this is mainly thanks to you guys, because you guys are the one driving the cars, you guys are the one swapping, and we really thank you for the trust you put in us. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much. So therefore, it's also a pleasure for me to say, and we all know, because talking to many of you, we know that there has been a huge desire to get more PowerSwap stations all over the country. Not only in Oslo, especially in Bergen. We are well aware, and we'll continue to speak on it. I know we talked about it, and we're still working on that. But I'm still glad to say that we are now also getting close to have a new PowerSwap station, Oslo West. So that is very good for us. And then finally, for us who reads a lot of news, we know that with there has been a big change in taxation, and a lot of us are now being forced to buy a car rather fast, because otherwise, if you get the car delivered next year, you will be penalized with the new taxation of 25%. And of course, since day one, we have one core vision is to take care of the users. And therefore, sorry, I need to learn this one better. That's it. That's what's up. Oh, there we go. Momsgaranti. That's important, because we want you to feel safe. If you buy a car today and you get it delivered next year, you should not be penalized for it. So that is something we will take care of. Now, of course, there is a lot of I'm not sure the English word for it, like criteria that has to be, because this applies not to stock cars. It is a certain limit of the numbers. It's I do choose this instead of interest rate campaign, etc. But all of this will be shared in written with you in the next couple of days. So with that said, I hope that is something you can take with us as a promise from us to you guys, that we will try to keep on taking care of your interests as well. Without further ado, William, welcome to Norway.
Sorry, I speak in Chinese. Very glad to meet you again. The Rohe will help me to translate. And
Hi.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you again.
那我刚才在想，上次来是3年前，整整3年了。这个 New House 已经开业4年了。那我们在挪威的用户也越来越多。那上次来呢，我是开这个 ET7， 这一次我开着这个 Firefly 来。今天我和这个力宏从这个哥德堡开车开到这边过来。
Just now I was thinking about when was my last visit, and it was actually 3 years ago, where we celebrated the first anniversary of the New House Oslo, which means that the Oslo New House has been established already for 4 years.
Yeah.
And last time in my visit, I drove an ET7 from Germany all the way to Oslo, and this time, earlier today, I drove a Firefly together with Li Hong from Gothenburg to Oslo.
还有这个对 Daniel 对，今天我穿了你们的衣服，这跟上次不一样。上次来的时候我们还只有1个 brand， 今天来我们 Neo 已经在中国交付了3个 brand， 我们在欧洲也开始在交付第2个 brand。
And even today, William is wearing a Firefly jacket as an endorsement of the Firefly brand for Daniel Jing. As last time when we were here, we only had 1 brand, that is Neo, and now we have 3 brands in China, and also we just started the 2nd brand, Firefly, for the European market.
Yeah, by the way, I have 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. 所以这不是巧合的这个。
It's not coincidence.
Yeah. So 非常高兴再次见到大家。我还在想上次我们在这个街上跳舞的事情，我想这是我一生中最难忘的经历之一啊！特别感谢我们挪威用户，给我带来的这样一些美好的回忆。非常高兴再次见到大家。
And also just now I was thinking about dancing outside on the street, celebrating the New House Oslo, and that was one of the most unforgettable memories that has been created together with all the Norway users. So I'd like to thank you again for the great memory that you've created together with me.
Yeah. 所以当然这3年也发生了非常多的事情。11年前我跟力宏创办这个公司的时候，我们知道会有很多的挑战，但是我们肯定也没有想到11年之间就会经历2次这种波谷的这种挑战。
And also many things have happened in the past 3 years. 11 years ago, together with Li Hong, when we founded the company, we knew that there will be a lot of challenges, but we didn't expect that in just 11 years, the company could go through 2 cycles, 2 rounds of ups and downs in just 11 years.
Yeah, 所以这个上次这个从挪威回去以后，那时候我们还没太感觉会有那么大的挑战，但是我们在过去的3年确实发展和我们自己的预期还是有一些差距，我们虽然每年还是保持了30%多的增长，30%、40%的增长，但是我们中国的同行有人能够做到100%的增长，所以我们涨得还不够快。
And last time when we returned from Norway, we didn't expect that it would be this challenging for us for the coming 3 years. Although it has been a difficult period for us, yet we still managed to achieve a 30 to 40% year-over-year growth, which sounds impressive, but our peers, our competitors in the automotive industry, they're doubling their results year-over-year. In that case, we are not fast enough.
Yeah. 当然，我们为未来的准备，我们并没有停下。我们在研发方面，我们仍然在尖锐的投入。我们在去年和前年每年都大概在研发方面投入了18亿欧元左右。那我们的基础设施，我们也在尖锐的投入。当然，确实在欧洲的换电站布局和我们预期的计划是落后了。但是我们从中国的角度来讲，我们布置了3500多座换电站。 我们在新的品牌方面，我们去年我们发布了 Onvo， 今年我们发布了 Firefly。现在3个品牌在全球都开始交付和销售，我们做了非常多的坚决的投入。
Yet, in the past several years, even against all these difficulties and the challenges, we've never stopped investing for the future. We've been making continuous investment in the R&D of our products and technologies, as well as the infrastructure, such as our charging and swapping network. In the past 2 years, every year our R&D investment was around $1.8 billion or euros, and we are also making continuous investment in the infrastructure network. In China now we have more than 3,500 power swap stations. Of course, in Europe our swap station deployment isn't as fast as we expected, yet we are trying to catch that up. And we've also developed all 3 brands. Last year we've introduced Onvo, our 2nd brand for the mass market, and earlier this year we introduced Firefly, our 3rd brand.
所以今年从下半年开始 ，NIO 开始进入到新的一个增长周期。在上个月我们交付了超过4万台这个Smart EV，3个品牌加起来超过4万台。那我们和去年比的话，同比差不多增长了1倍，那创造了我们交付的记录。接下来我想11月份、12月份我们还会创造新的记录。
So we can say that starting the second half of this year, the entire company has entered into a new phase of development. In October, we have delivered more than 40,000 vehicles under all 3 brands. That's basically doubling our delivery results in October last year, and we have created new highs over the past several months, and we will continue that momentum in November and December.
那今年我们在研发方面很多的投入开始量产我们在 ET9 上面量产了全球第1颗车规5纳米的芯片。那我们以前就是英伟达的最先进的 AD 芯片，全球最先采用的。那今年我们自己的这个芯片比英伟达的芯片要更早流片、更早上车、更早全链路跑通。我们今年搭载了我们自己的这个操作系统，我们花了4年去开发的，车上的每一颗芯片都自己能够管理。那我们的 AD 也切换到了世界模型，我们还有这个我们叫智能的底盘，像全主动悬架，还有我们的这个线控转向。ET9 现在可以说是全世界最领先的技术、最领先的车，所以这个都是我们过去几年里面投入的一个捷径。
And also starting this year, we have started to harvest the R&D results and investments we have made in the past years, taking ET9, our executive flagship sedan, on the 3rd generation platform as example. On this car, we have mass-produced the world's first 5nm chip for smart driving, and that is developed in-house by NIO. On the 2nd generation, we were the first adopting NVIDIA's AD chip and mass-produced that on car as also one of the earliest car companies. And on the 3rd generation, we are switching to our in-house developed chips. We have the earliest tape out of that chip. We also have the earliest mass production of that chip, much more advanced than NVIDIA's next generation chip. We also have developed our in-house operating system for smart vehicles, SkyOS. With this system, we are able to control every single chip inside of the car. We have also developed the new world model. That is our world model-based AD solution for the cars. We have also developed our intelligent chassis with steer-by-wire, full active suspension, all the technologies that are cutting edge and also leading the industry. So we could say that the new ET9 is the embodiment or is the most advanced product in the tech industry.
当然，这些技术开始我们在后续的车型上也都会搭载我们搭载了这些技术的全新的 ES8， 就第3代的 ES8，这个市场的反响非常的好。我们ES8 现在在这个已经交付了1万台了，刚刚交付1个月，已经交付了1万台。那我们今年的12月份，我们预计会交付超过15000台。当然，在中国现在，如果你预定的话，大概需要6个月的时间才能等到这个车，所以搭载的这些技术的车，确实是把我们的产品力进一步的去提升。
And these advanced technologies will also be further cascaded to the future models of NIO. For example, the all-new ES8, our third generation ES8 launched in September. It has been well received by the market, by the Chinese users. It has been actually already surpassing 10,000 delivery milestone in the first month of its delivery. And in this December, we expect to deliver around 15,000 ES8 in single months. For our users, if they place an order today, they will need to wait for up to 6 months to pick up their new ES8.
Yeah， 当然 ONVO 的这个产品也非常有竞争力。我们今年在7月份这个发布了这个 L90， 在8月1号开始交付，我们86天的时间交付超过3万台，这个是全球大型的 Smart EV 最快的交付记录。
And also, in the meantime, ONVO brand is also performing well, delivering competitive products. This July, we have started to deliver the second product of the ONVO brand called L90. And actually, in 86 days, it has already surpassed 30,000 delivery milestone. It is the fastest car achieving this result among all the large smart electric vehicles.
Yeah， 当然我们 Firefly 这个志在发光的 Firefly 这个在中国的表现也非常不错，但在欧洲我们已经开始交付了。我们在中国的话，这个上个月交付接近6000台，但因为它是一个高端的小车，和 Mini 和 Smart 和这个差不多的这个在一个 level， 比中国别的小车品牌要大概贵50%左右，所以从这个量的角度来讲的话是非常不错的。我们的量加起来等于Mini Plus、Smart Plus、ID.3 在中国，所以我们每个月做到6000台的交付量，这个是超过了我们的预期。
And also Firefly with the freedom to glow, it is also performing very well as we have just started that for the European market, yet in China it has been delivering a very impressive result. In October we have delivered nearly 6,000 units of a Firefly. Firefly's sales volume is now outnumbering the combined volume of a Smart, Mini and also ID.3 in China. It is competing with this premium brand in the small car segment. We're very impressive.
Yeah, 所以今年我们过去这3年里面的这些投入，过去10年的这些投入，不管是技术方面的，还是在产品方面的，还是我们新的品牌，还是我们在基建方面的这些投入，今年开始转化成为我们的一个竞争力。所以对于接下来我们整个的增长，我们还是非常有信心的。明年后年我们还有非常多的新产品会推向市场。那当然从整个公司的运营效率方面，我们也在做了非常多的提升。那大家都非常这个担心我们的可持续的经营，这个所以包括媒体有一些报道啊。虽然我们这个从成立到现在11年，我们还没有盈利，当然特斯拉用了16年才盈利。我们相信我们不需要等那么长的时间，但是大家都还是希望看到我们早一些盈利，所以我们制定了今年4季度要盈利的这样的一个计划。现在来看，虽然还有不到2个月的时间，我们还是有信心去完成的。当然这个。在这样的一个情况下吧，我们的运营效率也进行了非常多的提升。
So with all this innovation and technology investment in the past 3 years, or even for the past decade, we are starting to see the payoffs or the results from the past investment in terms of technologies, products, brands, and also infrastructure. All this investment and innovation are starting to translate into the competitiveness of our brands and also the entire company. With that, we are actually very confident regarding the development and also growth going forward. Not to mention that in next year and the year after, we are also having more competitive new products in the lineup. In the meantime, the company has also improved the overall operational efficiency. As many of you, including the journalists and the media, have expressed their concern regarding the company's financials and also the sustainability in the operations and business. Well, we are 11 years into establishment, and for Tesla, it took them 16 years to become profitable, and we believe that we need shorter time to achieve the profit result. So within this year, our target is to achieve quarterly break-even in Q4. And with that, we still have 2 months to go, and we are quite confident to achieve that result as we've been taking all kinds of measures.
We are confident, not very confident.
We still have 2 months to go, so we are confident in achieving that result. Yes, as we have made a lot of efforts in improving the efficiency.
Yes. So 这个是非常跟大家非常高兴跟大家这个更新这些进展。那挪威一直都是我们因为进到全球市场的第一站，因为我们在21年在那样的一个环境下，我们仍然取得了一个不错的开始。那在过去几年，过去3年，我们当然在这边有很多的收获，也有很多的我们要改进的地方。刚才安豪也讲到了，我们其实一直都非常关心我们在挪威的发展，因为对我们来说意味着非常多，所以再次感谢大家的这个关心和支持。那把公司经营好是我们对用户最大的责任，是我跟力宏还有我们整个的 team 对这个用户最大的责任。所以我相信，我们经过过去几年的这样一些投入，今年这样一些调整，我们能够有更多更有信心去支持我们在挪威的发展，在欧洲的发展，在全球的发展，我们还是这一点我们是非常有信心的。
As when it comes to the global market, Norway has been our very first stop. In 2021, against all the setbacks, we still managed to launch successfully here in Norway, and we actually kickstarted this market with a pretty smooth start. Although in the past 3 years there were ups and downs, as mentioned by Anho, we've made some progress, yet we also needed to make a lot of improvements to catch up. Yet nevertheless, we still would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the Norwegian users for your care, trust, and support. And also, operating the company sustainably and continuously is our biggest responsibility for our users. This is the biggest responsibility we undertake together with the management team. We need to make sure that the company is sustainable. And we believe that with all the past investment and all the adjustments we've accomplished, we can support the continuous development and business not only in Europe, but also in not only in Norway, but also in Europe and also worldwide.
Yeah, we are very comfortable. Confident,
Very confident.
Okay, thank you. That's the update, and now we can answer the question.
Yes.
So,
For the questions, we have two colleagues now, Marius and Selina. Maybe you guys can come help us reading for the best experience digitally as well. Maybe you can read up the questions, Marius.
yeah.
Sure, we can. Will NIO continue to invest and stay committed to the Norwegian market long term?
这个刚才已经回答过了。虽然我们在换电站的这个投入方面可能步伐慢了一点，但是我们对于在挪威的整个市场是非常坚决的。但今年确实是因为我们整个公司要去这个有财务上的压力，我们在有些投资方面肯定是变缓的。但是从长期来说，我们毫不犹豫的要坚决的在挪威去进行这个投入，不光是挪威，包括在欧洲，我们都会坚决的去进行投入。
Well, I actually have already mentioned a bit in my previous remark. Although in terms of the power swap station deployment and the network, we were a bit slower behind the schedule, yet we do have the continuous commitment to the Norwegian market and also to all the European markets. This year, because of the financial pressure, we are also relatively slow in making investment and expenses. Yet for the long term, we will always keep that commitment and also determination for not just the Norway market, but also the entire European market.
Yeah.
Next question, will the new NIO models and Anbo come to Norway?
那这个是非常好的一个问题。我们接下来我们正在做这个3年的这个规划，当然会涉及到也不光是挪威吧，整个欧洲和全球的这个产品的规划。因为从我们开发的角度来讲，我们的车其实基本上都是为了全球车去做好这个保护的。我们从真正把一辆车要决定去进一个市场，这个到时间上倒不是一个主要的问题，但是更多的还是这个车合不合适本地的市场，销量到底行不行，是吧？如果我们投了以后，如果这个销量不行，其实这个对我们的财务压力会比较大，所以我们会非常细致的去看这些东西。但从我们来讲，我们在现在主要像 Chris 的 team， 我们主要的团队主要的精力在建立这个全球的这个销售的网络。我们现在在欧洲，我们也采取了一些新的这样的一些这个业务开展的模式。
Well, it's actually a very good question as recently we've been working on the 3-year business planning for the entire company. Well, the product portfolio and planning for the European market and global markets are also part of that business plan for the coming 3 years. In terms of the product definition and also design, they are always protected and engineered or defined for the global markets. And in terms of the market entrance, timing is never a constraint or problem here, but we need to make sure that the products we introduce to a new market are the right products for that market. It should sell well, it should perform well in that market, otherwise our investment and efforts will be down in drain. It will also cause pressure on the financial side. And Chris Chen, leading the global business team, he's also working with the team and our partners in developing our global sales network, which will also be a very important enabler for our development next step.
我们今年会我们原来在欧洲，包括在挪威，目前我们都是用直销的方式 ，D2C 的方式，但是我们也意识到这个对我们的资源的占用是非常大的。所以我们今年开始，我们采用了在很多国家，欧洲的很多国家采用了这个国家的合作伙伴的模式。那我们今年会在欧洲的这个5个国家会去提供这个产品服务，就跟我们的 partner 一起，那个 distributor 的 partner 一起。明年我们要进入到20个国家，在欧洲的20个国家，所以我们会跟我们的 partner 一起来讨论哪些车适合在欧洲销售，这个是很重要的一件事情，包括有哪些功能是合适的。这样的话，我们整个的投资能够有更好的回报。那么这些工作的话，我们大概在明年的1季度会结束结束我们的会完成我们的计划。那所以包括 NIO 的新的产品，包括 Onvo 的新的产品，当然 Firefly 我们已经来了，那我们都会有非常 clear 的一个接下来的3年到5年的一个计划。
As with that, we are also making some adjustments in our business model, trying some new approaches. Like for this year, right now in the 5 European countries, we are doing direct to users, kind of direct selling sales model. But starting this year, we are also trying a new business model that is to enter into this new markets via our general distributor partners for different countries. So far, we have already started in 5 countries with our GD partners, and the next year we plan to enter 20 countries through our JD partners. So with their insights, with their resources, they will also be able to tell us what's the right product for that market. They can also help us to define the right features, right experience for the target users and also target market. In that case, we will be able to better making full use of our investment and maximize the return on such investment. Regarding the overall product and business planning, it will be wrapped up by Q1 next year, and by then we will be having a clearer picture for what kind of products under the NIO brand, under the Onvo brand, will become available for our European markets in the coming 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. 所以，但 Onvo 的话，我们的目前的计划是27年会在欧洲开始交付，所以这个也是我们一个目前的一个计划。这样的话，到27年，我们在欧洲3个 brand 都会来。
For the Onvo brand, our current plan is to kickstart the product deliveries in 2027, which means that in 2027 we will be having the complete lineup, brand lineup with NIO, Onvo, and the Firefly all available in Europe.
Yeah.
What are the plans for expanding the power substations network in Europe and Scandinavia?
Yeah.
Okay. In the long run, we think we need to be very persistent in developing our power swap station in Scandinavia countries. We truly believe that once the power swap stations can construct a network, and if the network, the density of the network is big enough, I think that will fundamentally change people's experience and also belief in traveling with EV. One example we have seen in China is that this year the numbers of our power swap stations in China now is about 3,500. Among which more than 1,000 have been deployed along the national highways. So which means people don't need to worry when they want to travel either inner city or intercity. So in the long run we need to do that. But as William said, this year we slowed down the pace We really feel sorry for that because of two reasons. One is that we need to save some resource this year for a better financial performance of the company overall. And the second reason is that we are waiting for our Generation 5 more advanced power swap station, which will be introduced from the first half of next year. And the Gen 5 power swap station will be more powerful, and also our Firefly can get swap service in the same station. That will be very, very useful for multi-brand users, and also more better capacity in battery storage as well, and with a lot more smarter features as well. So you know, it's a dilemma for us. If we develop deploy more today, perhaps that will also eat our resource for next year.
Yeah.
So we can save some energy this year, so that, you know, next year I think we will have a new plan. As William said, inside this company we are going to discuss all the plans thoroughly around the end of this year, and the new plan will be delivered Q1 next year. So I hope that, for example, if we are here again this time next year, you would feel more satisfied.
Yeah, 所以 yeah， 我也希望对5代站能够早一点到欧洲来，这个我们还要做一些验证。
Confident.
Yeah, we still need some time to verify the products, but we do hope to introduce the 5th generation power swap station to Europe as soon as possible.
By the way, I want to say one more thing. You know, we had our first generation battery swap station in June 2018, and now it's been 7.5 years until our introduction of our Generation 5. That will be 80 years. To introduce 5 generations in 80 years. So please trust us. We have been working.
Yeah, next question. Will BOSS remain a core ownership model in Europe? And will the 150 kWh battery become available in Europe?
Yeah. 我们这个 BOSS 的话，当然毫无疑问是我们长期的一个非常 core 的一个商业模式。那么在中国的话，我们大概80%-90%的用户会选择买车租电池。那在欧洲的话呢，我们方向上来讲，毫无疑问我们会坚持着这个提供这个服务。但我们确确实实也有一些问题需要解决。在中国的话，我们是这个和 CATL 还有别的投资人一起成立了一家电池的资产公司，所以这个公司它是一个独立的公司，所以它有自己的一些融资的渠道。那么在欧洲的话，我们 BOSS 模式的话，需要用我们自己的这个资产负债表，所以这个对我们是有一些财务的压力，所以我们在欧洲还需要去找这个电池的这个资产的持有方，这个对我们当然我们在做这个工作所以这是一个方向上来讲，我们肯定会认为这个是符合用户利益，也是符合我们商业模式的，我们会坚持做这件事情。
Well, it's true that BOSS has been a core business model and also a very important part of our long-term strategy. And in China, around 80 to 90% of users, they choose to buy the car will subscribe to the batteries. And for Europe, we also have BOSS as a very important offering. Yet here in Europe, we do need to fix several problems because in China, we have established a battery asset management company together with battery companies like CATL. So that battery asset management company is actually an independent company that can withhold all the battery assets by themselves. But in Europe, we don't have such partner or such company, which means that all the battery assets provided via BOSS will be actually withheld by us in our balance sheet, which can be quite a significant financial pressure and a burden. So as we are providing BOSS, we do need to find a partner that can actually hold this battery assets with us or for us so that we can continue such a service. But for the long run, we believe that this is actually providing our user a very good experience, and also it is beneficial to not only to our business, but also to our users' experience.
Yeah. 150度电的话，在中国的话，我们是去年正式的商用了，我们生产了几百个包，但这个包是确实非常贵的，因为它的能量密度是非常的高。那我们也发现一件很有意思的事情，我们因为这个150度电我们是可以灵活升级的，但是这个后边的这个使用率并没有我们想象的那么高。那换电网络这个多了以后，我们发现很有意思的事情，比如说原来在中国，在几年前我们的75度电和100度电的 take rate 是50%比50%。那我们的换电站多了以后，75度电和100的 take rate 变成97比3，所以大家突然发现我们确实不需要100度电。那所以150度电现在在中国就有一些尴尬，就是其实它的出租率是比较低的，这个大家并不需要真的去跑1000公里或者800公里、900公里。所以我们认为更好的方法是确确实实是要去增加换电站的数量啊，这个是更有意义的。如果我们把150度电到欧洲来的话，我们去做这件事情还做很多的验证，做很多的这个要做很多的投资做这件事情，那我们如果去租用的话，钱也不会便宜，所以我们觉得这个从商业的角度来讲的话，其实不 make sense。从这个 marketing 的角度来讲的话，当然是有意义的。从少部分用户的这种偶尔的需求，它也有意义。但是我们觉得，如果真的要去做投资，我们还是更愿意去多建换电站，更有价值。
Well, we mass-produced the 150 kilowatt-hour battery pack last year in China. We have produced several hundreds of packs, but it's true that the battery pack has a very long range, as it has a very high energy density. But it's also a little bit more pricier than the average battery pack. And when we deployed the battery packs and providing our users the options to flexibly upgrade to the 150, we find that actually they are not using this pack as often as we expected, where many of them are actually not using or upgrading to such battery pack. It's because we actually have more accessible power swap network in China. This is actually a very interesting phenomenon, as years ago, when we didn't have that many power swap stations, we have a 50-50 take rate between 75 kilowatt-hour battery and 100 kilowatt-hour battery. But now, as we have more than 3,500 swap stations in China, actually 97% of users, they chose 75 over 100. As they find that with this many swap stations, you don't need a very big battery pack or very long range for the car. Then when it comes to the 150 kilowatt-hour battery, the need is even more rare, as not many people would like to really drive 1,000 kilometers non-stop. So it is more of serving a marketing purpose than the real need or the real use cases for our users. Not to mention that to introduce the 150 kilowatt-hour battery to the European market, we needed to do additional tests and validations and also the certification of that product. That can also drive additional costs and efforts. With that, we'd rather use the money or the budget to deploy more power swap stations, as that can truly solve the problem for our users on the range than having a very large battery pack. Not to mention that the 150 kilowatt-hour battery pack is pretty expensive in the subscription fee. So we believe that it doesn't make sense either from the business perspective or from the use case or user experience perspective.
Yeah.
Why are European NIO vehicles so far behind Chinese models in software, NIO OS Aspen updates?
这个问题是刚才我们在 UOB 也讨论到的。我们确确实实这些更新是要慢一些，有2个原因嘛。但最主要的原因还是我们的 resource， 因为我们确确实实在今年我们会去做这些投资算的时候都算得比较细一些。那我们确确实这个在这方面的资源，整个公司的这个资源是做了一些削减啊，这个要非常坦诚的跟大家说。那另外一个确确实跟有一些这个功能，它是需要足够多的数据去支持，比如说像 ADAS 方面的一些功能，那可能有时也还涉及到一些法规方面的一些验证的不同的这个需求。所以我们其实比如说拿 AD 来说，我们做80万辆的车、30万辆的车的这个要投入的，和做5000辆车要投入的其实是一样的。 所以如果我们在这边的 population 整个 car population 不是那么多的话，确实对我们来说每一辆车要花的这个钱确实是非常多的，是数据收集各方面的东西，所以这确确实实是一个挑战，也非常抱歉这个体验没有办法给到一个完整的体验，但是我们清楚这是我们的一个责任，在公司的资源能够财务边界能够好一些的话，我们肯定还是会加大这个 FOTA 更新的这个频率和这个速度。
Well, just now at the UAB session, we have also mentioned about this. It's true that we are slow in pushing for software upgrades and also FOTA, and there are two main reasons. The first reason, which is also the primary reason, is because of the limited resources available to us this year. As we are under the financial pressure, in that case, we are more prudent in making investment and also in doing calculations. And we have to be very honest with that. We have very limited resources, and we also had to dial back on the resources for certain activities and also R&D. In that case, we couldn't really offer a very often software upgrade. Not to mention that, well, the second reason is mainly because of certain features and the validation requirement for certain features. Like for the ADAS features, we need to consider about not just the feature itself, but also the regulations and also the validation requirements. And to be honest, validating an AD solution on 5,000 cars is as expensive as validating that on 800,000 cars. So when the car population here in Europe is not big enough, for each car, the amortized validation fee is just too high to bear. In that case, with very limited resources, we also have to defer that as we will need to calculate the cost. So we would like to apologize for not being able to offer you the best software experience or the most frequent FOTA update. It's our responsibility, we are responsible for your experience. Yet when we have enough resources, when we are better off in terms of the resources, we will be actually also catching up in that regard.
How will NIO improve after-sales service and repair capacity in Norway?
I'll take that one. Actually, I'm taking some, as I mentioned from the beginning, we have already taken some steps. But if I break it
感谢这个问题，我们跟力宏，我们其实每周二都会看这个全球的用户满意度，有专门一个 section， 就是每周二我们都会看这个挪威啊，还有欧洲这几个国家的这个用户满意度。我们在欧洲so far，我们的业务的重点是用户的这个服务，用户的满意度，销量。当然我们是一个长期的目标，我们也知道短期也非常难去有一个特别大的一个提高。但我们对于这件事，我们是非常认真的在看这件事。所以大家如果有什么问题，你们可以一定要及时的反馈。这个我们会收集到大家的这些问题，会知道这个情况进展到哪一步。当然，我们也会给到团队更多的支持，让他们去提升这个服务的能力。
Well, thank you for the question. Actually, together with Li Hong and the entire management team of NIO, we've been reviewing the user satisfaction rating of every single market every Tuesday. So we've been doing that on a weekly basis. Currently in Europe, the user satisfaction and the user service is actually our top priority and also our primary focus. Sales volume, that's one thing we actually are planning for the long term. We don't expect the volume to actually jump over the night or significantly be boosted over the night. In that case, we focus more on serving our users well, and we are actually taking this matter very seriously. So if you have any feedback, if you have any opinions or comments, please do raise hand, please do let us know in a timely manner, and we will also provide the team necessary support so that we can serve our users better.
Will NIO consider a dealership hybrid sales model to make cars easier to buy in Europe?
Yeah, 这个前面我也讲过了，你可以再说一下。
William actually mentioned that we are very open and flexible for necessary means. This is possible. We are still need some time to figure it out and come up with a holistic plan at the latest Q1 next year.
Yeah， 但挪威的话，我们 这个就是 D2C 的模式啊，这个对。但别的国家我们会做新的尝试，对，还没有进入的一个过程。
And for Norway, we will keep the existing direct-to-users business model. For other new markets, we are trying different approaches and also different ways.
Yeah.
Why has marketing and visibility declined in Norway?
Why?
I can take this one. First of all, my background is from marketing. I've been working with marketing for 20 years, and marketing as a field has changed a lot. For example, 10 years back, a lot of people, what they did to kind of increase awareness, you spend a lot on TV, for example. Now, if we're being honest, how many of us are still watching TV? It's not that many, because we now use other things. So marketing as a field is becoming more and more challenging. So making us relevant is making more challenging. And secondly, it's also about competition. What we do see is our competitors are spending a lot of money in terms of how to reach out to all the users. And this is very challenging, especially in Norway. As you know, Norway as a market is the second most competitive market after China when it comes to automotive sales. Of course, we decided we want to build community, relying on the community field, and then spread through the word of mouth. That has been our strategy. And we have, of course, taken a lot of learnings that we'll take into next year to see how can we modify this. But nevertheless, we want to be more visible, and we applaud and thank you, many of you, because we do see on social media, many of you are really active, and we really appreciate that. So thank you for that. And then, of course, our job next year is not necessarily to spend more money, because being very honest, we will never be able to compete against certain competitors. That's not the case. We're not going to do that. But then we need to figure out how can we get most return on investment per money we spend. That is the key that we need to figure out. So yes, it has declined, we know, mainly because of competition. And then for next year, we will revise it to see how we can make ourselves relevant towards the segments that we want to talk to. Because the fact is that we don't need to talk to everybody. We need to talk to those that we find relevant for us. Okay? So that's, yeah. Hope that answered the question.
How will NIO scale its battery swapping model globally?
这个也是非常好的问题。当然，这个 swap station 和这个卖车，它要形成一个这个飞轮呢，就是要变成一个正向的反馈。但在中国，我们已经看到了这样一些正向的反馈。我们在中国，目前这个网络覆盖已经非常的这个全。这个我们也看到，比如说在长三角，我们在中国一半的销量是在3个地方卖出去，就是上海、浙江和江苏。这3个就是当然也是经济最发达的区域，显著的比别的品牌要更集中，因为这3个省，中国一共有30多个省，这3个省占了我们1/3的换电站，有1000多个换电站在这3个地方。所以我们看到的这个密度对于销量的这个作用。
Well, it's also a very insightful question regarding the number of power swap stations and how it can contribute to the sales volume. We should really leverage the synergies and formulate the positive cycle, the flying wheel. And we already see such effect in China. As now in China we have a pretty accessible and expensive power swap network. And in the Yangtze River Delta area, which is basically Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang, the 3 places which they are most developed in economy, we actually, half of our car sales happen in this area. And we also see the correlation between the number of car sales in the area as well as the number of power swap stations in the area, as we have around 1/3 of the swap stations concentrated in that area, more than 1,000 stations in this area. So we believe that there are correlations between these two, and we need to make full use of this.
Yeah, 我们还有一些有意思的例子，比如说我们在中国的山东有一个镇，这个镇只有5万多人，3万人，这个镇有1000辆 NIO， 因为我们用户一开始他们众筹了一座换电站，他们自己出钱说我们要建一个换电站，后来我们又在那边建了2座换电站，所以这个镇有3个换电站，然后卖了1000辆车。 所以在这个镇上面 ，BMW、Mercedes 这个车已经都没有了，完全都没有了，不管是油车还是电池。所以我们在今年我们在中国在做一个尝试，就是我们要去计算这个地方建个换电站对销量的促进的作用，我们要建立这样一个模型。那有了这样一个模型以后，我们其实是就会非常清楚，换电站它不光是一个做换电的服务，它其实对卖车也是非常有用的。所以我们也希望在挪威早一点去做这样的模型。所以这样的话，我们就可以从销量的增长里面去获得第一个动力。那换电站多了以后，那么它自己的经营也会，车多了以后经营也会变好。当然，我们在挪威其实最多的一个换电站，平均的60单，我们有3个换电站已经过了这个 break even 的这个线。我们在中国的话，差不多有20%就是25%的换电站已经能够到了break even 的线，所以这个良性的循环要把它建立起来。
And another very interesting example is with a small town in Shandong province in China. This is a small town with around 30,000 population, and we have actually 1,000 NIOs there. It's because at the beginning we didn't plan to install any power swap station in that small town, but then the local users
At the beginning, there are only 20 users.
At the beginning, there were only 20 users. With that amount, we didn't plan to install any power swap station there. Yet the users, they actually crowdfunded a power swap station. And with the first station established in that place, they were able to actually sell more cars. And then they have more stations and also more NIO cars, more than 1,000 cars. So basically, on the street of that small town, you will only see NIO. You will not see any other premium brands like Mercedes or BMW. So in China, starting this year, we're starting to establish a calculation model for every station, where when we decide to invest into a new station, we will also calculate how much or how many it can contribute to the sales volume, so that you need to understand, or so that we can understand, for power swap station, they are not just providing swap services to the users, they are also contributing to the sales volume. And I also hope that for Norway, we can establish such model as soon as possible to really leverage its contribution to the sales volume. And when you have more cars on the street, you are able to install more swap stations, and with more users using the power swap, you will also be able to improve the operations and also the business performance of each station. Like in Norway, the business station can do 60 swaps a day, and for that single station, it is already breaking even. And we have
money,
yes.
Yeah, 30单就可以。
Yeah, for Norway, if you want to break even at the single station level, you do 30 swaps per day, and that's enough. And we have 2 more stations also in Norway achieving that level. And in China, around a quarter of the stations, of course, the breaking even number in China is different from that in Norway, but a quarter of the stations in Norway, in China, also can achieve break even on the single station level. So that we need to formulate this positive cycle between the station and the volume and etc.
Yeah. 所以这个在刚才大家知道了我们5代站，那么在欧洲的问题会挑战一点。我们因为关税的原因，当然在挪威还好，但在欧洲大部分地方因为关税的原因，所以我们的车到这边来卖的非常的贵，所以 population 这个 car population 就很难涨上去。但是我们现在有 Firefly， 有27年我们还会有 Ango， 所以这些车单它会更便宜。我们相信加了关税以后，它的量也会比现在好很多。所以这个 car population 会比现在显著的会增加的快。这样的话，我们的换电站能够它就会能形成一个良性的反馈。那反过来，我们5代站都是3个 brand 都会支持的，所以只要这些车卖得多，只要Ango 卖得多 ，Firefly 卖得多，那 NIO 的用户也会受益。所以我们相信这个会是一个好的一个策略。
And as mentioned, we are working on the 5th generation power swap station that will be compatible with NIO, Ango, and the Firefly products. And now coming to Europe becomes more expensive because of the tariff. Of course, Norway does not have that problem, but for the rest of the European countries, our products are significantly pricier than our competitors because of the tariff and also the premium positioning of NIO. But now we have Firefly, and in 2027 we'll be having Onvo, which are more affordable even after or with the tariff. So with these more affordable products becoming available in the market, we are able to accumulate or grow our car population in a faster manner. As we have more users in the field, we are able to also build up more 5th generation power swap stations, not just for the Onvo and the Firefly user, and also for the new user, as you can also access to the 5th generation station. So that's the positive cycle that we would like to formulate.
所以这个邀请你的朋友买 Firefly 对建换电站有好处。
So please do keep that in mind. Referring Firefly to your friends can be helpful for your experience of a power swap.
Yeah, what defines success for NIO in the next decade?
OK， 所以当然定义一家公司还是要从它的这个mission 出发。当我们一直说 NIO 的使命是这个共创可持续和更美好的未来，这是写在我们的名字里面的。所以，当然对我们来说，这个是非常重要的。
Well, to define the success of a company, we can always start from the vision and mission of that company. And for NIO, it's stated in our company mission that is to shape a sustainable and brighter future together.
当然，第二个就是我们成为一家用户企业 user community、user enterprise， 这个就像我们今天这样的交流，我们希望因为 NIO， 我们每个用户都可以认识更多的有意思的人。 参加更有价值的事情，但这个对我们来说也是一直的追求。这个也是看我们自己是不是成功，还是取决于我们用户，这个用户社区是不是能够更加的有意义。
And the second is regarding being user-centric, being a user enterprise. Like the face-to-face session we have here today, we hope that with all the users coming to the community, you can meet with other like-minded people, you can participate in more meaningful events and activities. So to define the success of a company or to define the success of NIO, we believe that it should always be coming from our users and the user community.
当然，还有就是现在每一家 Smart EV 公司都会是一个技术的公司 ，AI 的公司。那我们当然觉得成为一家技术创新领先的这一家商业成功的公司也是非常重要的。
And also thirdly, every smart EV company is now becoming an AI company, a tech company. So being a company leading in technology and innovation and also being viable in business and sustainability is also what defines NIO as a successful company.
Yeah.
And with that, that was we received over 100 questions. So we have taken the questions that has been most covering for all the questions. So, but I can imagine you guys may have some questions for us.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
当然税收也有一些优惠，但这个现在已经越来越少了。那基本上来讲，到从税收的优惠的角度来讲，明年还会有一些退坡，所以到现在其实基本上也就2000欧元左右这样的一个税收的优惠，其实已经没有别的东西。那我觉得这个早期它是有意义的，但我觉得更多的还是因为这个竞争，因为竞争的话，所以你必须是迭代的非常的快。 像我们 ES8 是全世界第一个完成了3代迭代的车，我们18年交付第1代，22年交付第2代，然后今年就交付第3代。那如果去和 Tesla 对比的话 ，Tesla Model S 是2012年交付第1代，其实它后面只做过1次迭代，也就是说13年只做了1次迭代。所以那当然，所以 Model S 在中国根本是卖不出去的，就没人买。 但即使是 Model Y， 它18年Model 3到现在也就进行了半代的迭代，所以我认为最主要的还是因为竞争。
Well, talking about subsidy, it's true that there are certain types of subsidies provided by the government and also some tax incentives on buying EVs. But they are also cutting back on this amount. Like right now, for the Chinese users to buy an EV, their tax exemption is around 2,000 euros, and next year this will be further reduced. For me, I think a very major reason for such quick iterations in the product is mainly because of the fierce competition. As the competition is so competitive, so fierce, you need to make sure that you move fast enough to be able to stay in the game. Like for the ES8, right now we're already on the 3rd generation, and we launched the 1st generation in 2018, 2nd generation in 2022, and then now 3 years later we are already on the 3rd generation. So 7 years, 3 generations, we are actually the first. ES8 is actually the first model being able to upgrade it to the 3rd generation. Comparing with Tesla, their Model S was introduced in 2012, and after 13 years, they only upgraded that model once, and for the Model 3, they are only upgrading that half generation. So I believe that in terms of the Chinese car players, competition or the fierce competition is the main driver for them to keeping up the pace.
Yeah. 但从补贴的角度来讲，其实全世界的车，你只要在中国卖都能拿到补贴。所以，如果你从拿补贴的角度讲 ，Tesla 拿中国的补贴是最多的啊，没有别人比它多了，因为它在中国卖的也多。那所以当然中国是最大的市场，然后有足够强的供应链，有足够多的这个工程师，所以把这个因素和竞争放到一起的话，它就确确实实就会让这个产品。如果你产品不够好，在中国是根本不可能生产得下去的，所以我认为这个是最重要的原因。
And not to mention that when it comes to the subsidies and incentives on electric vehicles, as long as you sell EV models in China, you will be able to get the subsidy and the support for Chinese brands and also for the foreign brands. Like for Tesla, they are selling a lot of cars in China. They are also getting a lot of subsidies from the government. In that case, we would look at the market like this. China has a very large automotive market. It also has a very established supply chain, plus outstanding engineering resources and talent, combined with a highly competitive market. The players here are more motivated to provide better products to be able to stay in the competition, as if your products are not good enough, you won't be able to compete or even survive in that market. That's the real driver.
在竞争有多激烈呢？在中国，你推任何的新的功能，6个月以后一定会有别的有同样的，这就是竞争。
Let me show you how competitive the market is. In China, if you launch a feature that is one of a kind, industry first, 6 months later, all other competitors and players will be launching the same feature. This is how quick they are moving.
Yeah， 比如说我们在中国 L90， 我们的昂普的 L90有一个前备箱。 我们可以装3个箱子，后边还可以装7个箱子，所以也就是说，坐满6个人还可以装10个箱子。那我们原来觉得这个功能可能别人需要1年以上的时间，现在看起来大概7个月的时间，别人也能 catch， 所以这就是竞争。
And another example is with the L90. It has a huge frunk. The frunk is huge enough for 3 suitcases, plus a huge trunk for 7 suitcases. With L90 as a 3-row, 6-seater, even with all the occupants on board, you can still have enough space for 10 suitcases. And we thought that this is already a quite unique edge, and other competitors may need to take at least 1 year to be able to adapt their product with such a huge frunk. But it seems that in 7 months, they will be having a product with a similar feature. And this is how quick and how competitive the competition is.
My question is about the battery sizes. So as of now, the batteries are around 500 and 600 kilograms. And we see that there are new versions, new editions of these batteries. But I wonder, do you have any projects for reducing the weight of the battery packs rather than increasing the capacity? For example, using the 150 kilowatt hour technology and then building a 75 kilowatt with that. Like, could you achieve half of the weight?
Yeah, 这个是非常好的一个问题。其实很多人都在讨论solar battery 很多的这个更先进的电池技术。 其实这些能量密度越高，它的作用就是减重啊。所以我们的电池，比如说我们的最新的这个102的电池包，就是 ET9 上面用的这个电池包，其实跟别的100多度的电池包比的话，我们要比它们轻很多。这个原因是我们用的是这个 NCM 的技术。那现在中国大部分人已经开始用，还是回去用 LFP 的技术。他们因为这样的话便宜啊，每瓦时都会便宜一些。但是他们车就会变得重一些，所以我们其实觉得这个车重对马路有很多的破坏，其实从安全性很多方面也不是一个很好的选择，所以我们其实是愿意付每瓦时单价愿意付多一点的钱，但是把这个电池包做得轻一些，这个对我们来说是非常重要的。所以为什么我们L90那么大的车只有2.3吨？这个就是不同的思考嘛。但150度的技术，我们当时这个要做到现在的75度包上的话，这个确确实实还是太贵了，因为这个还是过了一些，所以我们还是用更成熟一点的技术。
It's also a very good question, as many people are talking about the solid-state battery technology or other more advanced battery technologies to achieve a higher battery density or energy density, as higher energy density represents that with the same amount of power output, you can reduce the battery mass or weight significantly. Actually, we are also looking at some of these mass reduction technologies with our battery pack. Like on the ET9, we have equipped the 102 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and its mass is actually significantly lower than other battery packs of the similar capacity, as we are using the NCM chemicals for that battery pack, while other competitors prefer LFP as it's cheaper in cost, and also the downside of the LFP battery is that it is heavier in terms of the battery pack. But we believe that for the car being too heavy, it can damage the road surface. It is also less safe in terms of the driving conditions. That's why we are willing to pay a bit more in terms of the price or the cost per watt hour in the battery pack's making to be able to achieve a more lightweight design for the battery pack. This is also why for the L90 as a 3-row, 6-seater large SUV, its mass is only around 2.3 tons. This is all enabled by the lightweight battery design. In terms of using the technologies for the 150 kilowatt-hour battery on 75, well, it can work, but still the cost will be too expensive, as it is still a very new and cutting-edge technology. In that case, for the 75, we'd rather use more mature, mass production-ready technologies.
My name is Angie, and then 我来自中国上海。Yeah, they're from. 你也是上海人？
我们现在都在
上海，非常棒。I think as a Chinese, super proud that NIO brings a piece of Chinese innovation to the world, to Europe. And some people, I've heard in China, you were called Elon Musk in China.
No.
He does not join that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question.
Now is not good.
I think it's not really comparable because as user side, I've heard around friends and even shooting on the team with VJ once. And then I was shooting the car for NIO.
Yeah.
And then the director of the filming team, he was driving the Tesla. And then I was saying in a very polite, Ricardo, you have a nice car. And then he said, NIO is much better. I was driving the car. Yeah, so my question is about the vision of the company, which is, what do you think the biggest challenge and opportunity in connecting the Chinese identity? It's a made in China and then innovation. So connecting the Chinese identity with the Western market.
Yeah. 对，这个 NIO 成立的时候是14年、15年，我们那个时候是全球化的高光的时刻，全球化的高峰。所以 NIO 当我们创办的时候，其实在慕尼黑啊，在伦敦，然后在硅谷，我们其实是一个 global 的 startup，所以我们在15年，我们的同事就来自于40多个国家。 所以在过去十多年的时间，我们其实都是一个非常全球的一个团队啊。即使我们的业务还没有扩展到全球，但我们的研发、我们的股东、我们的全部都是非常全球化。所以我们当时毫无疑问，我们是个中国的公司，但是我们认为我们一直就是一个 global 的公司。
Well, NIO was established in late 2014. It was the heyday of the globalization. So in 2015, we have already established offices and the locations in Munich, in London, in Silicon Valley, in the States. So we have been a global startup since the very beginning. We have a team of colleagues from more than 40 countries and regions. We actually, even before we started to offer our products globally, we are already a global companies with our business capabilities, with our R&D capabilities, with our diversified investor portfolio and shareholder portfolios, all are very global.
但确实在过去几年，现在这个是逆全球化，所以这个挑战会大很多了。这个很多的这个商业的环境和我们成立的时候是完全不一样的。但我们认为，不管怎么样，这个商业的还是最好的这个桥梁，把不同的文化人连接在一起。所以我们觉得让更多人用我们的产品、用我们的服务，我们的 community 变得更加的这个连接会更多我们认为这就是一个有意义的事情。当然，这个从长期来讲的话，我们还是相信合作永远都是最好的选项。我们觉得这个商业还是会让这个连接，还是会让整个世界会变得更加的，要怎么说呢？应该说更稳定一点，对，更友好一点。
Yet in the past several years, it's obviously it's a globalization in reverse, which also make it more challenging for us to really operate globally. The business environment has also changed significantly from when we just started the company. But still, we believe that business can be the best bridge to bring together people from different cultures and background. We still would like to offer our products and services to users from around the world. We would like to build connections with more users in different places through our user community. So as for the long term, we believe that cooperation is always a better option, even though it's now the globalization on the reverse. But with all these connections being built, we can at least make this world a little bit friendlier to each other.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to add something. Now we are in November. November is a very special month for NIO. The company first registered on 25th November 2014. Yeah, 2014. So we are going to be 11 years old very soon. And also on 21st November 2016, we launched our brand NIO in London, in such gallery. It's not a typical automotive place. It's an art gallery in London. So those two remarkable things to show that we were born global. Because we believe a car company cannot be isolated. Nobody can make a nice car within one boundary. So global collaboration is a must. We don't have other choices. And we know that the whole international society is not at its best stage now. But we think, just because of the change of the environment, in this world, we do need somebody who promote, advocate, and believe in collaboration and treating people in a nice way and establish long-term relations. So we believe, if we make the best product and provide the best services, and also, like the gathering like this, we gather together timely, at least we think, more or less we will do something positive to this environment, which we don't really like that much.
Just a short statement. of a recollection of a statement that was made by yourself 3 years ago.
Exam in time. Good, thank you.
It was said that the ES8 model was in Europe considered a test vehicle, and that this was later to be bought back by NIO, to be used as a service car. Will there be any, for us Pioneer users, as it was said, to be a thank you for trusting in the brand as it was just established? You're nodding. Any comments? You know where I'm heading?
这个我
First of all, thank you very much. We need that moment.
这个我们应该说一部分还是有可能的，全部估计有点难，卖的有点多。
我觉得新车我们可以。
Well, we can say that maybe not every car, but part of that can actually be achieved, or at least as mentioned by Li Hong for new cars.
Yeah. You know, there's one way we treat our old friends in China because we launch new products more often in China. Every time a new product is launched, somebody would be very happy. But the existing car owners sometimes feel not that cheerful. So a very practical way that we offer a discount coupon for the current users, when they upgrade their cars, if they still select NIO as their next car, they get a very nice discount. That is, on one hand, our users will keep getting benefits. On the other hand, the company will be more easily contact that because the same amount of money we can separate it into quite a longer time, so the whole company will be better performed financially. So if you like the idea, I suggest we can start that maybe from next year. And as William said, in the next 2 years, a lot more new models will be introduced, and also I believe after several years, some of you might at a very good stage to consider changing a new car.
But it was said 3 years ago that no cost.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. We are going to work on that immediately.
That's just me asking the question that nobody else dared to ask.
I like your question very much, and I think this is a very good way. No matter what we say here, somebody will record it and verify, whether or not you are saying is true. But I have to say, sometimes things changed, but we don't change that by intention. And the whole environment changed a lot, but we truly want to keep what we said and make you feel that we can be friends for longer time. Thank you.
I've been wondering about the sports cars. Like, do you have any plans to build a sports car similar to maybe Xiaomi SU7 Ultra, for example, or Porsche Taycan, using some of your technology? I think you could make really good sports cars.
Yeah. So, 这个小米的那个 founder 也是我们最早的投资人，所以当时我们给了他一辆 EP9， 所以估计也激励了他做后边的这些车。但总的来说，这个 sports car 现在不是我们的高优先级的这个车型当然像 ET5、ET5T、像 EC6 这些车都是非常 sporty， 但是做一个那种高性能、超高性能的车不是我们高优先级。这个总的来说，我们认为这个电动车它的性能是比较容易获胜的。我们觉得现在每辆车都已经开得很快了，事实上都已经很快了，所以我们不认为去追求像 2秒以内的加速、更快的加速有那么大的意义，所以我们认为4秒、3秒多的加速，所以我们会把更多的注意力放在安全上，不管是这个智慧安全还是各方面的这个安全。
Well, actually, the founder of Xiaomi is also one of our early investors. And when he invested into the company years ago, we actually gave him a EP9 as a gift. Probably he got some ideas from that car for the later Xiaomi models. We don't know. But regarding making a sports car, it's not our top priority at the moment. We have ET5, ET5 Touring, and also EC6, all are quite sporty in styling and also to somehow in performance. Yet overall speaking, we believe that people tend to overachieve the performance on smart electric vehicles because of the nature of the technologies, and you may sometimes have excessive performance on EVs. People are already driving fast enough. Doing acceleration to 100 kph in 2 seconds is not something we need or we want. 3 or 4 seconds that are already fast enough. So instead, we'd rather put efforts and performance more on the safety side. Active safety, passive safety, that matters more to our users.
And I drive that every day, and I love it. And thank you to the NIO design studio. Fantastic job. You also made another car, which you spoke about, the most advanced car in the world, maybe. We don't see that here in Norway.
That's good. 我们 ET9 虽然不卖，我们是不是可以拉一台过来？
Yeah, William just said, although we cannot sell our ET9 here in the short term, but at least we can transport one car here for exhibition.
That would be fantastic, because I think I speak for a lot of us, we are car nerds, we love cars, and it would be fantastic to drive
Please
it.
put that into calendar.
Okay.
It's a really good question. Keep it coming. All jokes aside, I really want to thank you guys for taking time coming over. As mentioned, it's been a really good session, good questions. And of course, thank you so much to William and Leon on taking their patience.
Let's take a video.
Yes, we have to take a video.
That's
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can see.
You first, okay? 1, 2, 3. No me. 1, 2, 3. No me. Okay. And then the video. Say Norway.
Norway.
So Norway. Okay. Norway power up. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Norway power up.
Yay!